Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
At Nefertari's Fine Cuisine in Tallahassee, Florida. And today my very special guest is Mr. Shepiro Hardemon. Welcome, Shepiro.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So Shepiro, we go back a ways, don't we?
Sometime.
Sometimes. Indeed. So you founded the Strikers
February 25th, 1989.
February 25th, 1989. So recently celebrated 30 years.
Absolutely.
Yes, so before we get to the Strikers, I want to talk a little bit of history. You came here to attend FAMU from Miami originally.
Of course.
Yes, and you came to study what here at FAMU?
Criminal justice.
Okay, all right, but was in the Marching 100.
Marching 100.
Yes.
I was section leader of the Flag Corps, and I was also the band's dance routine committee chair. And after graduating, I became a member of the band staff as the coordinator of flags and the band's choreographer.
Okay, very good. And around what time frame was that?
Officially, when I started getting paid, was 1997, 98 around that time.
But when you were in the band, when was that?
1984.
Okay, all right. So in the band, came to FAMU, but what's kept you here?
Really, the Strikers.
Okay.
The Strikers kept me here in the Marching 100. Like I said, I was the band's choreographer, but I had hopes on becoming one day the director of student activities. The late Colonel Bernard D. Hendricks, when I was a student, I was one of his go-to people. Okay. And student activities and I go way back from high school, because I worked at student activities under the direction of the late Helen J. Davis at Miami Northwestern, where I worked in her office for 4 years. And coming to college, I knew a lot about student activities, and I got involved a lot when under the direction of Colonel Hendricks, the late Colonel Hendricks. And prior to his death, I worked closely with him with a lot of different projects.
Okay. Gotcha. So tell me about the Strikers. What was the inspiration behind starting the Strikers?
Well, the Strikers really, I had another group called the Bottoms Best.
Okay.
And it was mainly all the dancers from the South Florida area. That's where I met Hinton Goo Battle. And he was a student at Florida State at the time. And the young lady that was over the Venom dance team, she approached me and asked me would I choreograph something for the Venom dancers. And told her, sure. And I said, well, I think what's missing is that you need to add some guys. I said the crowd wanted to see something different. Okay. You know, and so I asked her, would she invite, have all the dancers to bring in someone that could dance. Okay. Or felt like they could dance. And we would audition them. So I taught them a routine, and we was coming down the Civic Center stairs, February 25th, 1989. And actually it was before then, because I'll get to the story first, February 25th. Okay. I was coming down the stairs, and the announcer asked, what's the name of the group? And she said, call them the Strikers, because we didn't have a name. And people, I could remember Curtis Hunter behind me saying, Strikers, you know, Antoine Wood, Strikers, you know, they didn't like the name. But I thought the name was cool. So we went on to perform with the Venom dancers. We performed a group piece, and then we performed separately, then we did another group piece. And every time and it went over well. And every time we would go to a step show or a pep rally, anything like that, they'll be yelling, "We want the Strikers." And so Rodney James, Brian Johnson, myself, Jerron Worlds, and Keith Davis, a few of us would come to the floor and dance.
Okay.
You know, we took the same routine from our first performance, and we would do it over and over again. And so because we got so many requests, I decided to go ahead and just start an all-male dance company organization.
Okay.
And so I went to her, Benisa, and asked her, would she mind me using the name Strikers? Because I wanted to be affiliated with the university, and I had the guys, I asked 9 of the guys who danced with us, with the Venom dancers, to come and audition.
Okay.
And I formed the 10 originals. And so I had them audition. I had auditions, and we wound up with 10 Strikers.
Wow. Wow. So from 1989, how do you build this? You know, you establish an organization, but you know there are, I assume, rules that you have to put into play, procedures, that sort of thing. So how do you build that?
Well, longevity was the key because the dancers were pretty close. A lot of them were from the band, and I was very familiar with a lot of them. Renee Washington, she worked in student activities at the time. She wrote our first Constitution.
Wow.
You know, she gave us a sample of how to structure a Constitution, because Colonel Hendricks wanted us to be a campus organization. And he was thinking of being an ANS-funded organization, which we wound up becoming an ANS-funded organization. And so we structured the Constitution, and then the following year, I rewrote it.
Okay.
You know, after I understood exactly what I wanted, you know, from the university as well as the dancers. And it's the same exact Constitution from 1990 to the current day.
Interesting. So what is the qualifications to becoming a striker?
Well, a lot of rules have actually changed. So the current rules are you have to be enrolled at FAMU full time. You have to have a minimum 2.0 GPA, and this is just the university rules. And that's it. You audition for the organization, and you either make it or you don't. We have the auditions there. We have a little criteria where we have 5 people to actually vote. And if we get the number of yes votes, you proceed to the interview. After the interview, you become a member of the organization.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So what is the time requirement on a weekly basis in terms of practices?
Well, the group normally rehearse Sunday, Monday, Wednesdays. On Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10, and on Sundays from 3 to 6. And that varies. When 2 weeks come towards the concert, we rehearse every day. From 7 to 10.
Gotcha. So I know you're the founder, but you're also the artistic director, correct?
Definitely.
Yes. And what does that entail?
That entails, from the artistic side point, to organize, create, and develop the dancers. I don't necessarily have to choreograph everything for the organization, which I don't. At this current juncture, I now have a lot of my former dancers who are out in all over the country choreographing for people and bring them in as well. And I also open it up to other choreographers that are at other HBCUs or just that are choreographers just on a professional level, and bring them in and actually set works for the company. But my eye for excellence and making sure that the dancers retain choreography, clean choreography, come up with show concepts, themes, all that. Because the Dynasty was something that most of our concerts in the last 30 years, I've come up with the titles. A lot of times I consult with a good striker by the name of Malik Littles. He's very creative, and I bounce a lot of themes across him. We go back and forth, and we get the final product of what the theme will actually be. And we normally try to have it by the end of the summer. So the next fiscal year, meaning the next performance season in January, the excursion show is normally the first week of April or the second week. And so we'll have like January, February, March. We have 3.5 months to actually like.
So you have set shows that you do annually?
Oh yeah, we have a fall premiere.
Okay.
That's normally the first week in December. Then we have the spring excursion, which is the first or second week in April.
Okay, very good. We're going to take a break right here,
Okay.
but when we come back, I want you to tell me more about the Strikers as well as the Mahogany Dance.
Oh, Mahogany Dance Theater.
Yes, all right. Stay tuned for more conversation. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. If you're just joining us, our special guest is Mr. Shepiro Hardemon, the founder and artistic director of the Strikers Dance Troupe and of Mahogany Dance Theater. So before the break, I mentioned that I wanted to hear about Mahogany Dance Theater. How did it start and who is it? What does it consist of?
Mahogany Dance Theater is a co-ed dance company consisting of dancers from all walks of life. It's more of a modern jazz, contemporary company that the focus more on modern and jazz. We do hip hop as well as African tap pieces. We perform a variety of works. Currently in the company we have roughly 27 members, 25 females and 2 male dancers.
And Mahogany was founded when?
1997.
And what prompted you to start Mahogany? You already had the Strikers going.
Right. Well, again, my background is in dance. Coming from Miami Northwestern, I was a member of the Performing and Visual Arts Center,
Right,
PAVAC dancers, yes, under the direction of Miss Veronica Swindell Wesley.
Yes.
And I also danced with Florence Nichols when she first came to Miami. So I had I had the background in dance. So when I came to Tallahassee, Orches's Contemporary Dance Theater was the primary dance organization. Yes. And I didn't dance with orchestras. I really should have, but I didn't.
I'm surprised you didn't.
I didn't.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I'm not sure, but I love Dr. Barbara a lot. I mean,
she's a fantastic
yeah,
job.
definitely.
Yes.
But I was getting a lot of requests from females asking me to start a dance organization. At that time, Orchestra was very, their repertoire in African dance was really, really strong. And I don't want to say they was getting away from the contemporary or the jazz movement, but the focus was really on African. And a lot of people asked me to start an organization. And I was like, I didn't want to deal with just a bunch of women, girls, like, I'm good. And so one day I just decided to incorporate some female dancers during the Strikers excursion show.
Okay.
And we didn't even have a name, and it went over well. Latoya Davis, Masila Sharif, Sonia Kelly, Vanette Pender were some of my, Tramika Way were some of my original dancers that danced with me. We didn't even have Mahogany. And that summer, the end of the spring semester of '97, Lawrence Cole, who was a striker, he had encouraged me to start Mahogany. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start a female dance organization. I want it to be more of a modern jazz hip hop company.
Okay.
And I did.
All right.
And so that summer, I went down to Miami and I started hand-picking dancers, and I handpicked one young lady. She was dancing with Live in Color. She was a senior in high school, a graduating senior. Her name was Tracy Young Byron now. And I saw in the back of the dance studio, she was doing a hip hop piece with Zedric Bimber, Live in Color. And I said, and she was really, really good. And I told her about Mahogany, and she was coming to Tallahassee. So it happened, I was like, I want you to be a part of the organization.
Okay.
Really, really talented young lady. And she wound up being the rehearsal director of that first, that charter, when I started the organization as charter members, she was one of my charter member dancers.
Okay.
And the rest was history. Once we premiered that fall '97, 21 years later, we're still kicking with Mahogany.
Wow. Now, does Mahogany dance with the Strikers in those two
Yes,
annual?
the
Okay.
fall premiere and the spring concert. both it's Mahogany and Strikers.
All right, and what's the requirement for Mahogany?
Again, a student at Florida University with the 2.0 GPA.
And an audition.
And an audition.
Okay, very good,
Definitely.
very good. Now, I know your breadth of work extends beyond FAMU, so tell me some of the projects that you have worked on nationally that maybe folks may not be aware of.
The original Drumline.
The original Drumline,
Yes,
the movie.
I was the movie. I was the choreographer for the Atlanta A&T band, and many of the staff members, many of the staff on the movie were FAMU graduates.
Wow.
But there was a guy by the name of Don Roberts. He was a drum major in the band when I was in school, and when I started the Strikers, he told me that if he ever had an opportunity to use me in a big way, in a major way, he would.
Okay.
And I think it was like 2002, he mentioned it to me. In 2003, he made it a reality.
Wow.
I was the choreographer. They flew me in from Tallahassee on Thursday, and I would stay Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and come back Monday for about almost like 2.5 months, staying at the Georgia Terrace. I mean, nice accommodation, so that was a good experience. I've done things with Drumline. I've done things with Walt Disney World.
Okay.
What do you call it? The Verizon phone company. We did commercials with them. But my dancers outside the Strikers, I mean, they're all over the country.
Yeah, so tell me briefly some of the ones that have gone on to do some major works.
Tally Brinson, Rashad Horn,
Okay.
Brandon Cunningham, Brandon Mitchell.
And what are some of the works that they've done?
You name the artists, they performed with them.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Woody McLean lately, he was the latest one that went out to California, and he's Mr. Bobby Brown. And he's doing an amazing job. But he started from the Strikers. When he went out to California, he was dancing, and he got on with Chris Brown, and from there just started going on to his comedian stuff. He's a really funny guy as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how many Strikers do you think there have been from 1989 to now?
I would say 289.
Okay. look.
The 89.
The 89, right?
It's roughly about that many though.
Okay.
Honestly.
Wow, that's tremendous. That's tremendous. So I know 30 years ago you did not think that the Strikers would be still around in 2019. So what do you think the future of the Strikers is and the Mahogany Dance Theater?
Well,
or what do you hope the future is for both troops?
when we had our annual concert, I stepped down as the artistic director, and I didn't name my successor yet, but we're in the works of doing that. Okay. But I do plan that I know the organization will still move forward because it was built on a solid foundation, and we still have chartered members. We have chartered members of Mahogany, as well as original dancers of the Strikers that are still here in the Tallahassee area and the surrounding area. In Atlanta, Georgia, I think that's just right down the street in my eyes, and we have like several dancers that from that area. So they always give back, give good advice to the organization, whatever it is that they actually need, and the kids really, they do a good job with receiving. So I'm confident that you wouldn't even know that I'm gone.
Okay, sounds good. Now we're gonna shift gears just a little bit and talk about food. We're here at Nefertari.
Right.
So, what is your favorite type of food, or favorite dish if you don't have a favorite type?
I love seafood.
Seafood. Okay, a man after my own heart.
Right.
All right. And if you could describe your life as a flavor or a spice, what would it be?
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Okay, why cinnamon?
The rich color.
Okay.
The flavor stands out amongst the crowd. Blends really well. Blend well with others, with other spices. But it definitely stands out. It has a unique type of flavor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that would be you.
That would be me.
All right, very good. Well, we're going to take a break right here.
Okay.
All right. Stay tuned for more conversation. Conversations with Nicole clean and healthy eating segment with
Coach Oneil, the fitness preacher.
all right, fitness preacher. What you got for us today?
Well, I have a nice veggie medley
Okay.
with a special added ingredients to it. Yes.
So what's in this veggie medley?
Well, I'm gonna let you taste it after it's ready. I cannot reveal it yet.
So you got a surprise for us?
There's a surprise I have.
Okay.
The surprise, I cannot
Okay.
tell you the surprise, but I will tell you what's in there right now.
Okay.
I have carrots, I have red bell pepper, I have yellow bell peppers, I have onions, I have garlic in there, rosemary,
Okay.
thyme, basil, and okra.
Okay.
Come with me.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Looks good. Very colorful. Is there a significance in the color?
Yes. You always want to put food that is rich and food that gives color. So when it has color, it gives your body life.
I think I may know what that secret ingredient is, but let me taste it first.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll just put.
All right,
sweet
now what
potato.
is this? Is this sweet potato?
Yes, that is sweet potato.
And how did you prepare this one?
Well, I just peeled it and then I cut it in half and then made another cut, a
Okay.
quarter of a cut.
Okay.
And then
And just boil it? Did you
And
put
just boil it.
anything else in it?
just a little bit of oil that I put in the pot.
A little bit of oil.
Oil
you put in
and
the
you know,
pot?
sometimes some people may want a little bit of salt on it. So
Okay.
you know.
Okay. All right. So let's taste these vegetables. Something coconutty.
Yes. Yes. Coconut milk.
That's different, but it's good.
It gives it a lot of flavor to it. And
I
coconut
like that.
is really good.
I like this. Could almost be like a soup or a stew.
Exactly. Exactly. You could add, but the thing about with this dish, you could add whatever you want to it to bring it out to more. I choose the coconut because the coconut has a unique flavor to it that it really, when you eat it, you really think you're in the Caribbean islands.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Very good. Well, thank you for your time today.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Stay tuned for more conversation. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. As you can see, our dessert is here. So that's all the conversation we have time for today. I want to thank my special guest, Mr. Shepiro Hardemon. Congratulations on 30
Thank you,
years
thank you,
of
thank
the
you.
Strikers and, of course, the Mahogany Dance
Yes,
Theater.
yes.
Look forward to hearing more from you. Even
Okay.
though I know you're retiring, still, I know you're going to be involved. So,
Oh, of course.
yes. So I'll keep my eyes out on you.
All right. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
All right. And thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Conversations with Nicole.
Okay.
All right. So